All right, good afternoon. All right, get a little energy going. Good afternoon. All right, welcome to our monthly Community Coalition meeting. I am Tracy Parsons. I facilitate these meetings each month, a place that we get to come together to talk about all that's happening in our community. But we like through the coalition to talk about partnership and collaboration and how we address these really tough social and economic issues together. So we are in National Mental Health Awareness Month. Special focus, yeah, come on now. So be part of a special focus of today's meeting is putting a concentration on mental health awareness and some of the great work that's taken place. We also are in the middle of National Police Week. All right, so let's give our law enforcement a round of applause. All right. So, Mr. Mayor, this is your first coalition meeting as mayor. So can we give a round of applause? I told you it would change on you. When you were coming here as mayor-elect, they were applauding you and standing, and then today, it's old already, brother. All right, I love it. So, a big part of each one of our meetings, each month is we like to hear from our law enforcement partners, and so leadership, law enforcement, come on up, please.
Hello, community, my family. So I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I almost played hooky today too because it's so nice outside. But in case you didn't know, it is Happy Police Week. So Police Week is May 12th through the 18th. As your chief for Champaign, Illinois, I am personally inviting you. Tonight we are having employees be awarded. I'm just going to give you some numbers about the amazing work that your police department is doing in Champaign. Tonight at our police department at 5:30 p.m., I really appreciate that all of you all are going to be there. Everyone. It's free food. Free food. It's not really free. So 39 officers are going to receive commendations for exceptional service to our community. 8 officers are going to receive life-saving medals. 3 personnel are going to receive leadership awards. And we have, a couple years ago, we brought our physical fitness test back because that's the total piece to officer wellness. And we are giving the top performers their annual physical fitness test awards. We're also going to recognize our volunteer of the year, employee of the year, and officer of the year. So you're going to be there tonight. And then Saturday, you all going to come back, okay? Because we're having CPD open house where you get to walk around in the police department. We're going to open up our everything. You get to see everything. We're going to have demonstrations going on. You get to talk to the staff. You get to ask us those weird questions that community members ask. So we definitely want to see you all there. Beyond Police Week, I'm very, very proud of the community. Of course, we average about 150 calls per day, over 3,800 a month. Out of that 3,800 calls per month, we had one unconfirmed incident of a person that was shot. We're still trying to figure it out because the person left town and they're not supporting law enforcement efforts with the investigations. But of course, we are nothing without equity and engagement. We run in tandem when we have a shooting. Our equity engagement, the justice victim advocates, they go out and they interview and they provide trauma support. So you know how I like to brag about my leadership. The mayor, the city manager, and our city council. I mean, they went all the way in. We are finally getting our own co-response mental health model. Yes, that's a big deal. I've always said about the city of Champaign, they always put their money where their mouth is. And it's going to cost a lot, but they believe so much in the community that they're willing to make sure that we have the mental health resources that we need. So Champaign Police, Fire, MadCat, and of course the City Equity and Engagement Department, we're going to work collaboratively to develop a mental health response model. The great part is we're looking for people from the community to be part of our team. Look at my council member shaking his head there. Right? So you got that lived experience. We want you to come work for the city of Champaign. It's the greatest place to work for. It's just the greatest. So if you're interested in applying for those jobs, go to champaign.il.gov, champaign.il.gov/jobs. We're looking for applicants. Join the greatest employer in the world, the city of Champaign. Thank you all. The greatest.
You know, if I return comments, it would look like we're not working together. So, all right, folks, before I start, you know, I'm a data guy. Some of you have positions and roles that you should be asking me for data. I won't call you out, but I'm gonna give you some examples. When we start sharing data, the numbers will go down in the areas that you are responsible for as well. So, you got me? All right. Urbana shooting since the last time we met, April 6th of this year, 1200 block of Learman. Juvenile fired a stolen weapon at a unleashed dog. The dog was killed. The juvenile was arrested. Firearm recovered. Nobody hurt. Also, the 12th of April, don't know the location. A lot of times when we don't know the location, that doesn't mean it necessarily happened in Urbana. The hospital happens to be located there. A victim walked into Curl Hospital with a gunshot wound to the hip. Victim did not provide any information about where the shooting occurred. The only person injured was him. Okay, there's my figure 8. If you recall, if you were here, I went back 5 years, the figure 8 did not change. I can go back 10 years, the figure 8 does not change. Figure 8 doesn't change, means things aren't working the way they should be working. I know everybody's doing great work, but you gotta measure the outcomes. So this is our 2025 gun activity. We had 2 shootings that ended in homicides, shootings with injuries, 2 shootings without injuries, 6 armed robberies, 4 aggravated assault with a firearm. We had 7 seized firearms, 20 stolen firearms. We had 4 recovered firearms, 1 relinquished firearms, 1 as well. I always want to highlight seized firearm. That simply means that Tracy has a firearm on him, and we were able to take that firearm from him without gunplay. That always goes into your training, your de-escalation skills, and your value for the sanctity of life. Next. All right, so this is our crime year to date, starting January 1 to May 10th. Violent crime simply means people crime, crimes against people. We're down 8%. Property crime, it is property stolen or damaged. 14% we're down. You take the sum of both of those, property and violent, you have a total crime reduction for the year thus far, 11%. Now I do want to highlight homicide. In 2024, this time last year, we had 1 homicide. Currently, we have 7. I also want to calibrate your thoughts on that. That's an increase of 600%, obviously. 2 of those that I already stated were related to gunplay. The other were stabbing. The others were vehicle homicides. Domestic batteries. In 2024, we had 162 this time last year. Currently, we have 130. That's a decrease of 20. And here's where I say, We started providing data to Land of Lincoln, Courage Connection. The data speaks for itself. They've done something. We had a small part, but they've done something that's working. So I'm gonna say again, particularly someone that said they're involved with guns. If you're not asking me for gun data, I expect you to be asking me at the end of the meeting. So, retail theft. That went down as well. If I'm being honest, those retail thefts that was happening were on Philo Road. And the two drugstores are no longer there, so obviously they cannot be a victim anymore. We're down 22% there. Next. There's that figure 8 again. And we had 7 homicides within that figure 8. 3 rapes, non-fatal shootings, we had 9. Robbery, we had 10. Domestic assault, battery, 130. Battery, non-domestic, that simply means people fighting, 104. Assault and intimidation, that simply means somebody's threatening to hurt you. We had 45 there. Again, I highlight that figure 8 because it's not just crime, it's people living in conditions where they don't have the best options. There's lack of hope, lack of opportunity, lack of employment, under education, health issues, all that stuff will stimulate crime. Next. All right, same thing with property crime. It's not always violent crime. If you're living in those type of conditions that I just said, you're going to see the same outcome. There's that figure 8. I promise you that figure 8 hadn't changed in 15, 20 years. Next. All right, this is our Officer of the Month. One of the things I wanted to do upon my arrival, the officers were not standing perpendicular to the floor. The morale was down, so we started an Officer of the Month. And with that Officer of the Month, you get a $100 prize. And our Officer of the Month happened to be Officer Folks. She's an outstanding individual. She's always stepped up to take on more responsibility than she should. She's currently on her way to becoming a mother. By the way, happy Mother's Day to you all, and I hope you had a good one. And in addition to that, she's just outstanding. We also have a co-response team, Tim, and I believe Urbana started theirs a while back. And we're looking to expand upon it to go full circle. I want to tell you about a partnership with United Way and the Coalition. They assisted us with developing a program with the school system. Dr. Tatum has embraced this. The program is called Handle with Care. Handle with Care positively impacts the school, the prison pipeline. This is something I did in Virginia. What happens is, little Tim is involved in or seen something the night before. He has to go to school the next day. It could be a shooting, it could be a domestic, it could be a multitude of things. And because he's not in his right mindset, he's acting out. And what happened was, teachers, administrators took that acting out as he's just a bad kid, not knowing that he or she experienced something traumatic the night before, right? So what we do now, because we are the first responders, once we recognize this child has experienced a traumatic event, there's an alert system where we alert the schools so that they are aware that he may not be himself today. So do not put him in a position where he becomes part of the system. Any questions on anything I said? Yes. Right now, it's public school district. Okay. All right. Seeing no other hands, I'm going to step aside.
afternoon. Things are going to be hopefully looking a lot quieter for us on campus after next week. So if you have been dying to come down to campus and find your favorite restaurant and not have to work through the crowds, the time is coming. So we've got over 8,000 graduates. We're getting ready for our main ceremony on Saturday, and over 35 other congratulatory ceremonies for the rest of our graduates that are going to be coming this weekend. So we're excited about it, but Saturday might be a day you want to avoid campus if you don't like gridlock. Kind of keeping with the theme that the other two chiefs introduced today, I wanted to talk a little bit about our co-response team. So last month was our awards banquet, and we celebrated a lot of our awards winners, and I wanted to speak a little bit about one of the awards we gave, our Excellence in Community Policing Award. So the criteria for that award is that the recipient has made innovation and exemplary efforts to demonstrate strategies and techniques of community policing in the areas of focus area, partnership, development, and problem solving. And we honored one of our officers and one of our crisis workers. They work together as a co-response team, Officer Betsy Alfonso and crisis worker Jessica Wilson. They work to assist a chronically homeless individual with mental health concerns, obtain access to his finances and safe housing during the very cold days of winter 2025. When the team had contact with him, it was 5 degrees outside and he was living on the street. If you'd been through campus, the man was essentially living in an exterior vestibule at the corner of Wright and Green. A lot of people drive past him every day, walk past him without paying much attention, but not our co-response team. After talking with him, they realized that he actually had a significant amount of money in his bank account and just no way to access it and no help. They tried several times to get him access for the month with no success because of his declining mental health issues. They ended up helping him gain access to his money, safe housing, food, and clothing, knowing that he would need additional system or assistance following that contact. They helped set him up with medical care, ongoing mental health support to address those mental health concerns that he was experiencing. Our crisis responder, Jessica Wilson, involved a public guardian to help advocate for him, kind of after we stepped back and called in some other community partners. So after the first contact with him, both Alfonso and Wilson, worked more than 6 weeks to address his unmet needs, take him to scheduled appointments as a team together, make sure that he got the things that he needed to be healthy, to be successful, and to live his best life, and kind of get him back where he knew that he could be. A lot of people discounted him, when they drove by, but rationalizing it, whatever that they did. But Wilson Alfonso, they listened to him, they believed him, and they helped solve some of the problems that were causing some difficulty in his life. So we gave them an award for that. We're proud of their work every day, and that was just one example of the things that our crisis response teams are out there doing in the community and looking for opportunities to do in the community. And finally, on the 16th, we'd like to invite everybody to cop on a rooftop. Our officers will be standing on the rooftop of Dunkin' Donuts on University Avenue in Urbana with a handful of other local partners from 6 o'clock to noon. That's going to be on the 16th. They'll be raising funds for the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. So come on by and help us raise some funds for a great cause.
Good afternoon. We will also be participating in Cop on Top this Friday. So, on April 18th, the Champaign County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to a residence on Chateau Drive in St. Joe for a report of a shooting. The deputies discovered the shooting had occurred approximately 3 weeks prior and that there were no injuries during this shooting. The victim, a St. Joe man, identified a sole suspect. The deputies were able to gather evidence and several witness statements before interviewing the suspect. At this time, there have been no arrests in that it's an ongoing investigation. And that's been all the shooting incidents we had last month. The Sheriff's Office is also participating in the Handle with Care. We're getting that set up with them and we'll be part of that program. So that'll be good for us. And we have moved now to our new address. We are no longer at 204 East Main Street. The sheriff's office is now located at 102 East Main Street, directly west of our old building in the new Bennett Administration Building. So that's, the old office is completely closed. So that's all I have.
All right, let's give our law enforcement leadership another round of applause. So one of the things that I don't want us to slip through our understanding, this idea around police response and co-responder models coming out of George Floyd, this was really one of the really more important issues and topics being discussed about law enforcement coming on calls and participating in calls that are mental health-based calls or other challenges might be going on, right? And sometimes police hyped up or coming into the situations, we've had a number of incidents across the country and here locally where law enforcement maybe were not the most appropriate to be responding to the calls. And so now to be able to think about all of our police departments piloting, implementing new initiatives to address co-responder activity is just a power in our community and our police departments. And I just wanted us to realize how unique that is for communities to have a number of different law enforcement jurisdictions piloting and learning how to do co-response. And it's just really, really powerful. So I want to give one more applause for that. All right, I want to bring Regina Kreider up. As I shared with you, we are in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month. Little more than 10 years ago, I would say we had a project we were doing here locally that we called the Access Initiative. I was the point person on that. Karen Sims was part of our trauma work we were doing and learning about. Chandra Somerville was doing our cultural competency stuff. Jonte Rollins was doing social media and marketing. And I had the pleasure, the blessing, the unbelievable, I think Chandra introduced us. And we were looking for someone to lead us in the work of youth and family voice, choice, how we encourage and help families have say in their kids and their families' care around mental health issues. And we were just starting this work here locally, and I had the pleasure of meeting Regina Kreider out of Rantoul. Let's give her a round of applause, right? So 10, 12 years later, we have one of the preeminent voices for parent and youth voice out of our community on a national level. And that's what Regina represents. You were a parent navigating all of these systems with a child that needed additional supports, and kind of talk about just that a little bit as a parent growing up with a child that needed supports and trying to navigate systems at that time. Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy. First of all, it's an honor and a privilege to stand before the people that I have served in this community for as long as I have. And so I'm happy to be back here in front of you today. But to just tell you a little bit about our story, I had just came right before I came on to Access. My daughter had a mental health crisis at school. She tried to hang herself in the bathroom, and she was 10 years old. And that put us on the fast track to navigating the mental health system. And it was by the grace of God that Tracy reached out to me, and that just propelled me to a whole nother level of understanding the importance of children's behavioral health, the importance of parent voice, the importance of parents being empowered, parents being able to come to the table as leaders, not only advocating for themselves and their child at a micro level, but what I gained from my experience with Access is also being able to know how to be a voice for all children and all families at that macro level. So that's one of the benefits that came out of the work that we did at Access.
So you've been a state leader, you've ran a family-run organization. What's the key points around a family-run organization?
So we have this fortunate opportunity when Access Initiative was ending their grant, ending our grant, we had to put a sustainability plan in place. And so we asked the families that we were working with, hey, what do you want to do? And what they wanted to do was to continue the work, but they wanted to continue the work in their own service delivery model, which is a family-run organization. A family-run organization, in the terms in which I'm speaking about it, is specific to children's behavioral health. And what that means is that the board of directors for that organization is over 51% of the board members are people with lived experience, meaning that those are parents who have navigated multiple systems, specifically the children's behavioral health system for their child. So that's where it starts, is at the board of directors. On a service level, the majority of your staff consists of people with lived experience. So you have peer supporters who oftentimes do the direct service work from within the family-run organization model. And then there's other people in the organization who are support workers, but it primarily focuses around peer parent support, which is a person with lived experience who have navigated those systems for their child.
So just say a little bit more about that, and how are most parents and families being served, trying to navigate not only the needs and supports for their youth, their kids, but now trying to figure out how they help them. What does that typically look like?
First of all, it's literally baptism by fire, and you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of families come to the table not knowing what to do or how to do it. So organizations like family-run organizations or different organizations that hire peer supporters, they need people who are willing to come along families to help teach them how to navigate that system, to give them information, to help empower them. And most families are coming to the table extremely overwhelmed. Now let's just bring that down to a basic level. Say if you're dealing with a family of color. In our community, a lot of times there's a lot of stigma around receiving mental health services, or even acknowledging that a child has a mental health issue. I know my husband was like, well, what do you mean she has a mental health issue? What children don't have mental health issues, right? And I had to teach him and empower him as well for him to understand, no, this is a very serious issue that our daughter had. And I am at liberty to share our story, and she knows that we talk about this often. But most families are coming to the table needing information, needing people who are willing to be patient with them and to stick it out with them for the long haul. Most parents will give up when they have to continue to go pick their child up from school or pick their child up from the detention center, or they constantly getting phone calls, because a lot of times parents are just trying to maintain the household. So if you have one kid and you have two other children, but this one kid is requiring all this additional attention and needs, going to the doctor and getting diagnosis and you learning as well, and then trying to take care of yourself, it can be very, very overwhelming for families.
So I wanted to lay that foundation for you. Governor Pritzker's got a new initiative.
Yes.
You are part of the team rolling out this work around behavioral health, family, sports, combining all the systems, DCFS, DHS, HFC, Justice, DJT, right? Public health, right?
Yeah.
State Board of Education, right? The Transformation Initiative is bringing all of this.
Yes.
Regina Cryer is going to share this work with us.
Okay, so Tracy told me I have exactly 30 minutes, and I'm gonna probably do it in less time than that. So, anybody heard about the Children's Behavioral Health Transformation Initiative? Anyone heard about Beacon? Okay, good, we have a couple people, but anyway, so I'm gonna talk about the things that I think that are gonna be most interesting to you. So, I just want to thank everyone for being here today, and I have the opportunity to talk to you about the Children's Behavioral Health Transformation Initiative, and I'm a part of that team. Today, what I'm going to do is introduce to you Beacon, and it's a key tool that we've developed to support families across Illinois as they seek behavioral health services for their children. Beacon is a part of a large statewide effort to ensure that all families have access to the resources and the support that they need. So, the Children's Behavioral Health Initiative was established in 2022 for the rising mental health services needs for kids across the state. We focus on closing the gaps in behavioral health services for children across Illinois. It brings together child-serving agencies to improve access and coordination of care, and then enhances a seamless and efficient services for families, helping to create a more unified system of care. The key transformation priorities are simple. We wanted to simplify by absorbing complexity behind the scenes to make it easier for families to get the services that they're seeking. We wanted to increase the speed, which means leverage technology to improve efficiency and transparency. We were also looking to listen to families' voices. Evaluating the voices of families was central to our mission and what we were doing. We believe that the people who rely on these services, like parents and caregivers, and young people, they contributed to this work as well, should have a say in how the system evolves. And then number 4, lastly, we prioritize fostering collaboration between public system partners, and then we also have moved into collaborating with some private partners as well. If you know anything about our system, our behavioral health care system in Illinois, it's really not a system, right? It's made up of 6 different child-serving agencies. So, like Tracy said, we have the Department of Children and Family Services, which is our state child welfare agency, the Department of Human Services, the Department of Juvenile Justice, the Department of Public Health, ISB, and then HFS. And then, as you can see, the various areas in which all of these different entities have a say in what's happening with the children's behavioral health system. So my supervisor and my boss is Dr. Dana Weiner. She's the one who wrote the transformation, the blueprint, and I'll give you an opportunity for those who don't have it. You can be able to scan it and download it. She had to work really hard to get all of these agencies to work together, and so they created an agreement that between these 6 agencies, they can now share information back and forth to streamline the process of what we need to do for kids in Illinois. So these are the 12 recommendations that came out of the blueprint. Today, I'm just going to focus on 4 of those recommendations. Number 1, the development of a care portal. Number 9, there's a rollout for universal screenings in education and pediatrics. And then I specifically lead 2 of these recommendations, which is recommendation 11 and 12. My focus is on building out the workforce using paraprofessionals and then fortifying community networks by investing in local communities and parent leadership. So this is some of the work that we've done so far for each of the recommendations. The solid bar represents how far we think, how long it's going to take us to get to where we need to get with each of these recommendations. And then the white bar on the inside shows you where we are in that process. So as you can see, since 2022, we've done a significant amount of work on this project, but we still have a lot more ways to go. So some of the accomplishments that we have made so far in the blueprint is 1, the public release of Beacon, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about, which was publicly released in January of this year. There's a capacity reporting tool which allows state agencies to jointly assess and manage residential treatment resources. There's a pilot program to provide in-home behavioral health aids to assist parents caring for youth with autism and mental health challenges with which pending results will then be a Medicaid billable service. This is monumental that we're piloting this program, and this is not for families that are just necessarily Medicaid billable in this particular situation. You okay? In this particular situation, these families will be able to have someone come in the home and work with their child just like they would if they had a one-on-one aide in the school. So kids who oftentimes have one-on-one aides in the school don't have that support at home. So this is a support to help that family to be able to keep their kids out of the hospital, out of crisis, and in those types of situations. So that's great. I was saying that we have done some work around private and public partnerships. So I just so happen to sit on a foundation board, the Illinois Children's Healthcare Foundation. And one of the things that we did was, as a board member, the director came to me and said, what can we do to support the work of the blueprint? And I said, well, we really need to have more family-run organizations in the state of Illinois. So the foundation has invested over $1 million to stand up 7 family-run organizations across the state of Illinois. And I'm going to show you where those organizations are. And Champaign County, fortunately, now has another family-run organization because they were awarded a grant for this particular area. The launch of ISB's mental health screening readiness tool to inform the development of a phased approach to implementing screenings. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And then the successful resolution of 356 portal cases, which diverted 187 cases from hotline calls to other service pathways. So recommendation 12 is recommendation number 9 is about universal mental health screenings for youth. Basically, what this recommendation says is that by 2028, all school districts in the state of Illinois must offer mental health screenings to children from 3rd to 12th grade. Families can opt out, right? But it now is required that they have that available to them. So in the first year, a school landscape scan was completed. So we did a lot of work in meeting with school districts to find out what do they have in their schools, what types of tools are they using. They reached out to every single district, every district that replied. We did interviews we talked to parents, we talked to teachers, we talked to administrators to get this landscape scan. Then there's a school readiness assessment that was released just in April. So now we have a report out that's saying these are the people who are ready, these are the people who are already providing services, so it's a great report. I can provide that information to Tracy to send out to you all if you want access to that. So the next thing that we're going to be working on is a policy guidance to school districts on how they're going to be able to implement this, along with some technology and tools provided to the various districts. So all of that is coming out of Chapin Hall, out of our team. We're going to provide that information for them so that if schools say, hey, we don't have the resources or the ability to pay for these things, there will be tools available and accessible to them to be able to do that. And then by 27, 28, the phased approach to implementation based on readiness hopefully will be completed in that 27, 28 school year. That's recommendation number 9. Recommendation number 11 is my recommendation, and that's to expand our workforce. But my specific focus is focusing on developing practitioner type roles, support roles, those roles that can support, kids who are seeing a therapist. You see a therapist once a week, but a practitioner can see your family 2 or 3 times a week. So it's those support type roles. So we launched our workforce development work group in October. We established our goals, and then we launched in May 2025 those in-home behavioral health aides. That gets started this month. So there's 2 organizations that are going to be piloting that program for us. And then we are sending out a statewide survey with the Behavioral Health Workforce Center to identify needed in peer support and for mental health extenders, so we're going to do that. And then the next step is to assess our Medicaid and other funding requirements for those workforce roles. So we're in our infant stages with this particular work group, but our goal is to create the infrastructure that's needed within the state of Illinois so that we can roll out more support roles to for families that they need, that they say that they need. My other recommendation that I work on is recommendation 12, which is fortifying the community networks, and we do that with the Department of Public Health. We launched that committee in 2023. We completed a community networks scan across the state of Illinois. We finished that up in April 2025. We stood up those 7 family-run organizations across the state, and we have defined and designed our community networks and what that's going to look like. I'm going to show you. And the next step is that we're looking to roll out a NOFO with the Department of Public Health to release funds to communities to fund community networks, right? So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like, and our goal to do that is by 2025. So when we did our scan of community networks, this is what I found in the state. There's infrastructure in place. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to build off of what we already have. And so because of the work that I did at Access, that really informed my ability to help design what we're gonna do for our community network for recommendation number 12. As you can see, Champaign County is over here. I really thought about what we did with our System of Care grant, what Tracy has been able to do with the Champaign Coalition. I shared that with my group, and they really thought it was a good idea, and all we've done was to magnify it to build it out more. So what we're looking at basically is this is what it's going to kind of look like. Oops, yeah. So we're going to, because we are working with the public health department, we're going to do a public health approach where we've defined the problem, identified the risk, developed and testing a prevention strategy, and then we're going to ensure widespread adoption. The way that we're going to do that is by having what we call a network anchor. That network anchor is going to be responsible for all of these activities in the middle, such as receiving funding, doing some data decision making, keeping the open lines of communication, cross-sector coordination, shared power, learning collaboratives, building capacity. Then the little circles on the outside, as you can see, are all of the different types of people that are community networks within the community, okay? And then once all of these players come to the table, right, these are the results that we're looking to come from those community networks. So just to give you an overview, oh, this slide is out of place. This is a picture of the family-run organizations and where they're located throughout the state of Illinois. And as you can see, we have one in each of the IDPH regions. But this is what I wanted to show you with the community networks. So the way that this is going to work is similar to how we used to have local area networks. So what you have here in the middle is your network anchor, and your network anchor is responsible for convening all the other community networks within their region. So the network anchor will receive funding from IDPH to do that convening, and we're looking at finding additional state partners that will help us to fund those community networks to fill in the gaps of services that families are saying that they're needing in their community. So the role of the network anchor is going to be to share information from the community level back up to the state level, and the state is going to use that information to drive services as well, and also to convene all of these various regional community network anchors. So that's what it's looking like at this point. Any questions so far about that before I move on? All right. So that's the blueprint. This is Beacon and why we created Beacon. When I saw this presentation Dr. Weiner did, I was like, she understands what the problem is and she knows how to fix it. So one of the issues was that families needed help to find and connect with services. And pretty much when families are looking for services, for mental health services in Illinois or in their local community, this is kind of like what it looks like. You have all these different paths that you can take to try to get to whatever services that you need, right? And so what we wanted to do was make this picture simpler and easier for families to get to where they need to get. Now, when I saw this picture, I almost cried, because now you have a very clear way of understanding where you want to get to. So families can enter into any one of these state departments, community places, and then they'll get to this coordinator. This coordinator is like your beacon. That's where you'll go to find services. And from beacon, it'll help you get to where you need to go. So we wanted to streamline the process and make it a lot simpler for families to find what they need. Now, how are we gonna do that? So it's gonna be on their phone, and it's going to be accessible, and you'll be able to, I'll provide you with the address for this of how you can find Beacon. So far we've rolled out a lot of messaging with Beacon, but we have a lot more to do. So far we've had directors' messages and websites, newsletters, targeted webinars and trainings. We've done email blasts, we've recorded trainings, and we also have a website. And one of the initiatives that I'm preparing is to roll out a Beacon Family Community Communications work group. So if anyone is interested in participating, just email me, you can come. What that means is that we want people to come to the table who are willing to utilize their resources to help us get this into the hands of families, right? So that families know that this is available to them. So this is what the site looks like. The Children's Behavioral Health Transformation Initiative site looks like. And these are some of the online resources. So let me just say what Beacon isn't. Beacon is just one piece of the puzzle, okay? So Beacon connects families with helpers and allows everyone to see what is available for the youth. Many other improvements are underway, including statewide resource referral tool. We're going to look at adding additional capacity for services to reduce wait times. We're going to add community networks into the portal so that families can find, entities such as this. And then we're also looking at the behavioral health workforce expansion, which we're working on. God bless you. But what Beacon does not do is provide diagnostic assessment, prescribe services, or make appointments at this time. But hopefully in the future we will do this. And what's really exciting about Beacon was that we did this with in conjunction with Google. So Google also put money into helping to design our Beacon portal. So this is what the website looks like when you're accessing Beacon. As you can see, that's the URL, beacon.illinois.gov, beacon.illinois.gov. You can go on, you can create an account, you can be an anonymous user, and then there's also information on there about crisis resources. For parents and guardians, we encourage them to create an account. When we were designing this, one of the things that they asked me was, how could this be useful for families? If you have a child that has a mental health diagnosis, or if you have an IEP, a 504 plan, whatever the case may be, one of the things that you can do is accumulate a lot of paper. By creating an account, families can upload all their documents to the, I know, right? To the portal so that you don't have to keep retelling your story over and over and over again. The people on the back end who are looking at your referral information can just access it, and all 6 of those agencies have access when parents give them permission to look at their information. But now it's in one central place to be able to upload that information. So that was one of the beautiful parts of what we did with Beacon. Anyone, though, can create an account. You got a list of your community-based services. You can also just request additional information. And then there's also some information about crisis resources. Another wonderful thing about the Beacon is that all of the different languages that it can come in. It's not just in English, it's in other languages as well. Any questions so far? Wonderful. All right. So how is Beacon staffed? Beacon is staffed by the Department of Human Services, Division of Mental Health. They have resource coordinators. They are the ones who directly work with the families, the best person on the team to help them. Then there's a clinical specialist who help families who have more complex needs. And then there's also parent navigators who help families understand the process. So once again, how parents and guardians can use Beacon. They can access Beacon for service navigation. They can create an account for immediate support. They can track progress and engage with providers. And then they can also request additional assistance. For those who are social workers or what they consider professionals, how you can use Beacon, you can identify behavioral health needs for students, refer families to appropriate resources, and then it can also help be utilized in support with IEP and special education planning. I'm giving you a high-level overview. Probation officers can also utilize Beacon. You can use it by connecting youth to behavioral health services, coordinate court-ordered services, and then also use it to collaborate with other service providers. And then how additional providers can use Beacon as well is to enter cases for ongoing behavioral health support. So you can enter the information in for the family if they don't feel comfortable doing that. You can connect families to specialized services. And then there's also, once again, the ability to coordinate care across providers. So, and we have the other slides for other people. I didn't remember who all would be in the room, but we have slides for attorneys, hospitals, as well as to how to utilize this as well, and police department, I think, as well. So our next steps is ongoing development, expansion of services of the Beacon, and then we're going to continue to try to improve upon it as much as we can to make it easier for families and people who are helping families to provide services. So that is the end of my presentation. I told you I'm going to go over. So you're welcome to scan the code to access the blueprint for transformation. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You're more than welcome, or to give me a call. I'll be happy to do whatever I can to support you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today.
So you wouldn't believe how shy Regina was when we first met. She could not have done this presentation, and just her growth, I'm just so proud of her. So thank you for the information. Really important information. Yeah, let's give her one more, right? All right, so today, got a lot of information sharing, so I need you to be tight and to the point with your updates. So why don't the AXO folks start coming up, and while we do that, we're gonna have the Reparations Coalition talk about what's happening with them.
Thank you, Tracy. Most of you have probably noticed when we stand up, we say we're from Champaign-Urbana Reparations Coalition, and you might not know what that is or why it exists. In fact, I have breakfast with a bunch of guys every week, and when I talk about reparations, one of the guys always says, well, we don't need reparations. All we need to do is increase minimum wage. Great idea, but it doesn't have really anything to do with reparations. Most people think that reparations are either not necessary or not justified, and they also think that they're completely not viable, never work, never be able to do it, and therefore they conclude that it will never happen. And those conclusions are true for both African Americans and white Americans. We just dismiss the whole concept that way. Well, we've been working on this situation, learning about this whole thing for the last couple of years, and we're offering a town hall on reparations that you are invited to on June 5th. That's 3 weeks from tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It'll be at Church of the Living God, which is up on Bradley. And Nita's going to tell you a little bit about who's going to be there and what they're going to be talking about.
First of all, let's get rid of that myth that it's not happening. Local reparations is happening all over the United States in various communities, and we want to be one of those communities. Our reparations has three objectives: acknowledgement of the harm and trauma over generations, which continues till today. We want to be involved in education and helping our community understand the need for reparations, and the time has passed, so let's do it now, and then to actually get involved in reparations. So, as Dave mentioned, we have some flyers in the back about our town hall on reparations. It's going to be we're going to have a panelist, 3 panelists from out of town saying what's happening in their communities. We have Robin Prudy, founder and executive director of the Descendants of the St. Louis University Enslaved. Janae Relaford, chair of the Kansas City Reparations Coalition. Reverend Dr. Robert Spicer of Restorative Strategies and author of Aspirational Justice, A Pathway Toward Healing and Restoration. And we have some of our own spokespeople going to be there. Dr. Lakeisha David, no, I wrote it down. She is the founder and moving force behind the African Kinship Reunion Project. It's genetic testing to bring together families separated by historic mass human trafficking from Africa, and that is already happening. There are people who have signed up and have done the genetic testing and are finding relatives both here and in Africa. Dr. Jeff Trask, many of you know him. He was the founder of the Champaign-Urbana Christian Health Center. He's become the really spokesperson for reparations here in Champaign-Urbana. And if you need a speaker, reach out to Jeff. He keeps him very busy. He's also the Midwest representative of First Repair, which had its birthplace in Evanston, Illinois, which was the first local area to actually commit town money toward reparations, and it's being given now. And then Pastor Renee Antrosio of New Covenant Fellowship, their church said, we're not waiting for anybody, we're doing it now. They've set up and are dispensing an educational fund for grandchildren of people in their congregation, both past and present, who have been harmed by local redlining and other forms of harm here. So we pick up a flyer, and also there's a sign up if you want to get our monthly newsletter.
That's June 5th. That's 3 weeks from tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. at the Church of the Living God.
Flyers are in the back. All right. So Axel. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Ms. Gillespie, I need you guys to get through it for me, okay?
Okay, hey, everybody.
Sorry to rush, but I got to rush.
It's all right. There is no power in this world as great as the power of people determined to rise. And our young people are individuals that are determined to rise. W.B. Du Bois, so you cannot chain a human soul. So our young people are loosed and they're ready to go. And so in the very minuscule time that we have, we're going to present them. AXO was started here in Champaign-Urbana in 2002, and we're continuing to this day. Over 900,000 young people have been impacted by the AXO program. Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. To help get through this, we have our friend Nicole Jackson, who's going to give you some of the elementary tenets.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Dr. Gillespie said, AXO is the Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics. Okay. It was established in 1978 as a stimulus for youth excellence, recognized by the NAACP and founder Vernon Jarrett. About AXO, again, Afro-Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. It's a tongue twister a little bit. It's an academic and talent enrichment program for African-American high school students. It encourages high achievements in various categories. There are about 30 competition categories in the areas of STEM, humanities, performing arts, visual arts, and culinary arts, and it's supported by community volunteers, business leaders, mentors, and coaches. Excuse me. The AXO mission is to mobilize the adult community to prepare, recognize, and reward youth who exemplify academic and artistic excellence. It highlights and celebrates the achievements of students demonstrating scholastics and creative talent. Provides students with the necessary skills, confidence, and training to set goals and to make meaningful contributions to society. And again, the Champaign County branch has been active since 2002, and we also have a middle school component that they don't get to compete at the national level, but it prepares them, get them prepared for that. There are several benefits for the enrichment opportunities. Again, we have workshops on monthly meetings. We have volunteers, instructors, mentors, and gives them skill and development. They showcase hard work and achievement at our local AXO competition, and the winners receive gold medals, silver, bronze, and then we have those that in high school go compete at the national level where they get scholarship opportunities and get gold medals as well from national sponsors. Yes. So we have a couple hearing from our AXO alum.
Of my time in high school, and it was, to this day, one of the most fruitful experiences I've ever been fortunate enough to be part of. My name is Gabrielle Parsons, and I am a former AXO participant. I participated in AXO towards the end of my time in high school, and it was, to this day, one of the most fruitful experiences I've ever been fortunate enough to be part of. I, to this day, am still so grateful for the learning experience it provided me on how to adequately prepare to present my talents and talk about my talents and put forward really unique presentations and art, and then also be able to see the level of excellence that exists out there in the world among our youth. And so I am forever grateful to Ms. Gillespie and the AXO program for seeing the talent that I didn't even know that I had, and the talent that exists in Champaign County. And I think AXO is one of the most important programs that we can continue to invest in. During my time on AXO, I participated in the writing and art competitions specifically, and I still can remember it very vividly of going through the process of developing what I wanted to submitting, going through the judging process, and then being selected to attend nationals. Still very proud of that moment, and I feel like it allowed me to expand my worldview around, just places outside of Champaign-Urbana, and getting to meet really skilled and talented people my age, and also exposure to, experts and celebrities. And I think it's just a really great experience that, especially in Champaign-Urbana, it's a little big town, and so the more people that we can send to opportunities to expand their perspectives, expand their community, and be provided with such a platform to excel in their talents and expertise, it's a really valuable experience. So to this day, forever grateful for being part in AXO. It's an extremely valuable resource we can offer our youth, and I'm excited to see AXO continue, and especially in no better hands than Dr. Gillespie. So thank you very much.
Hey, Champaign County branch of AXO? Is that you? My name is Dr. Christopher Jaro Gillespie, and I am a former alumni of Champaign County branch. My experience with AXO shaped my life. It was during AXO that I was able to explore my many talents, from contemporary vocal exercises all the way to scientific exploration. But what I didn't know, and here's a secret, is that all those skills that I learned in AXO and was able to build during my time in AXO would come back to award me later in life. Thanks to AXO's influence on my life, I now serve as a fellow at the Federation of American Scientists. I also own my own scientific policy and consultation firm called Gillespie Consulting. See, AXO isn't just about competing. In actuality, it's actually about community. Being a part of AXO allowed me to learn about different perspectives and different aspects about the world I live in. It created a version of me that was equipped to go about the world in a very certain way. That's my hope for all of you.
Now, we thank them for those testimonies, but nothing is like a live experience. So for just a few moments, we have two students. Come on, Jemiah. We've been talking about mental health. She actually created a robot that addresses the needs of young people.
Hi, my name is Jemiah Freeman, and I built a robot to assist youth in mental health in 7th grade. And over the past 2 years, I've been working on Nicole version 2.0 to help kids basically navigate struggles in life. So the way she works is you talk to her through a microphone that's planted in her head. She basically responds. My bad, I'm nervous. So the way she works is she uses ChatGPT to respond to your questions, and she basically gives you a customized response to help you out. I'm sorry. So I built her to assist kids my age, and I built her out of 3D printed parts and also using Arduino boards and motors. So Nicole was built to help kids and also help them. And the reason I built her to do this is because I wanted to mix my interest in building things and helping kids, and also building something that can be very helpful towards everybody and anybody that needs it. And that's all I can really say. Sorry.
Her robot is actually in the car. We knew we didn't have time to bring it in, but it's actually in the car. And then this is Michael Turner. He's going to speak on one of his poems. Okay,
we're going to respect Mr. Tracy's time. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Turner, and I would just like to leave you with this verse, Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. AXO, under the leadership of these three young ladies over here, allows us young people to do such a thing. So thank you for continuing to support AXO and their continuous efforts in allowing us to share our light with the world. Thank you.
So Ms. Gillespie snuck one in on me, right? I'm trying to rush him through. That was my daughter on the slide.
I knew you would smile and give us a little extra time.
I said, hey, run that back so we can make sure we hear all of what she has to say. Okay.
Okay. So I'm always the person who asks for money. And so I've got a couple of our So we have people who support us in the community. Some of them support us through allowing our students to work with them. For instance, Crystal Hogue is here, and our children work with her and in terms of the Bible study classes, in terms of theater. But we also have people who give us financial money. We have people who come out of their pockets and they help us. And so I'll let you see some of the brochures that we have, that the people who've supported us. We have Mr. Faraci. There's an ad in here from Senator Faraci. He gave us a nice size check for us to give scholarships to our students. And so the only way we can do this is through that. We don't ask the parents for any money. We support this either from our pockets or from the community. So I'll let you see these. I've got a couple of envelopes that have cards in them that if you'd like to put a check in there, and there's an address on it, so you don't have to do it today. You can just take this envelope with you and just put it in the mail later on. And then Michael, I'm so sorry he didn't have a chance to share with you, but Michael is a 4-time winner from the Champaign-Urbana AXO program. He has won. The first year he didn't win anything, but he came back that second year and took a gold in oratory. He came back the next year and took a bronze in oratory. And this year he is competing in 2 areas. He's oratory as well as poetry reading. I'm sorry. So here we go. Sorry.
Get out your checkbooks and send some money to this. This is really, really important stuff. Okay, we have our Birth to 5 folks, couple of seconds, and then we have our Bible theater.
Hi, everyone. Can I see a raise of hands for anybody who's heard of Birth to 5 Illinois before? Wow, so many. I'm so excited. So I will speak so fast. Hopefully you can hear me. We are a statewide initiative. There are 39 regions throughout the state of Illinois. We are Region 9, which serves Champaign and Ford counties. Throughout the state, we work in the community local level to address challenges that are affecting young children and families in the community, whether that's access to care, quality of services, things like that. We work in partnership with families and community leaders, such as yourselves, professionals and providers, to identify those challenges, and we come together then to develop an action plan which addresses those challenges and comes forward with actionable steps.
Sure, yeah. My name's Jill. I'm the Regional Council Manager for Birth to 5 Illinois Region 9 here in Champaign and Ford County. And we really, at Birth to 5 Illinois, want to uplift family voice. It's a huge pillar of our work. Part of the way we do that is by facilitating family councils. So Melissa facilitates our family councils monthly. To be a member of the family council, you simply have to be a parent of a kiddo birth to 8 in Champaign or Ford County and just have an interest in serving and giving back. There's a stipend for those families, and we really want to lift up their voices, figure out what the needs are for early childhood services, and empower parents. We also have an action council with Birth to 5 Illinois. We've got some represented here. Javiette serves with us from United Way. We meet every month as an action council and develop goals related to early childhood services, access to services, promoting the profession of early childhood, digging into some transportation issues. We're developing a presentation for child care centers called Walk Hand in Hand, which we're really excited about. This fall, we're going to be implementing a mental and behavioral health piece to our action plan, trying to figure out some actionable steps, some goals within our community that can increase services, increase awareness, and really figure out what the needs are for our youngest kiddos related to mental and behavioral health. If you are interested in getting more information about either the Family Council or the Action Council or Birth to 5 Illinois in general, we'll be in the back table and hang out for a minute after the meeting. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Just really quick, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Come up here. Been around since 2008, and we provide Bible plays, inspirational plays, as well as after-school programs and also summer art camps as well. We are in our new location inside Lincoln Square Mall. So do you want to go ahead and share a little bit about what we're doing?
Sure. We are, our next event is going to be our talent show. So if you have any kids between 3 and 17, we would love to have them come and participate. We also wouldn't mind having people of other ages who would like to participate, but they wouldn't participate participate for prizes. We also have our summer camp coming up in June. So if you have any kids that are interested in acting, singing, dancing, we would love to have them participate in our programs.
And I will say too, just real quick, we've been around since 2008 and have impacted over 25,000 people. We were in Chicago, also in Indianapolis, and now we're in Champaign.
So all of our, information sharing folks, I'll definitely be pleased to get you back on the agenda when I got more time. So I got to do one last thing. My good friend Max White is here from drug court, and I had a chance to attend the graduation a couple of weeks ago, and to see the transformation of what we've been able to do through our drug courts with folks who are addicted. And almost all of the participants, Max, talked about your work and your support of them and what a difference it's made. So as a good friend and family that we are, just want to recognize you. So stand up so the group sees you. All right. Peace and love to you, and thank you for all that you do to make our community be the best it can be.